Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. In our last video, we spent a few days in Calgary, and now our road trip to the Canadian Rockies has officially begun. Our first destination is the beautiful Waterton National Park in the south of Alberta. But before we get there, a couple of fascinating detours. A quick stop at the Okotoks Erratic, and a visit to a UNESCO World Heritage Site with a very unusual name, the Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump. Don't worry, you'll get to hear the story behind the name later. The weather was not the best that day, with dreary clouds and a spatter of rain every now and then. To warm ourselves up, we grabbed some coffee and a little something to eat at Denny's. It served a good breakfast for a fast food chain, or maybe we were just hungry. Just a 10 minutes drive from Denny's, we arrived at the Erratic. It is a big boulder which looks pretty ordinary, but for the fact that it sits in a vast flat plain alone, looking so out of place, where did it come from? Geologists theorize that this rock was once part of the Rockies. As the glacier eroded the mountains, it carried this huge piece of it for hundreds of kilometers. When the glacier finally melted, it simply left the massive rock here, in the middle of nowhere. On a not-so-scientific side note, you may be more interested in the Blackfoot tribe's legend of Napi, a supernatural trickster who was chased by the very same boulder. You can read about it on a plaque on the site. Entering Longview. We're originally going to stop here for lunch, but we just had breakfast. Luckily, just before we reached our next destination, the rain let up and the sun came out shyly from behind the clouds. And here we are at the Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump. This place holds immense cultural and historical importance for the indigenous tribes of this area, particularly the Blackfoot. This plain is a site where buffaloes were hunted for centuries. The museum here beautifully documents the history, the close relationship between the tribes and the herds, and the cultural significance of the bison. The museum is designed to be experienced from top to bottom, so let's head up to the upper trail. This is the upper trail.
Kita pernah lihat bears kan?
Oh ya?
Iya, tapi
Black
dari
bear.
mobil.
Black
wow.
bear on the side of the road.
Like Fatima on the street.
Iya, dia lagi nyebrang ya.
Ooh, the trail is pretty nice. It's nicely marked and fenced.
Yeah. So you don't jump like the bison.
So the trail takes us to a viewing platform. At the end of the viewing platform, you can see the cliff edge where the bison hunts once took place. To hunt them, the tribes would lead the herd to the top of the cliff and incite a stampede, sending the animals plunging to their death. An ingenious way to kill many of them at once to stalk before the long, harsh winter.
Was added strength to our bones. Handles for tools came from the antlers of cows.
After a short walk on the upper trail, we slowly made our way back down through the museum. It is a trove of interesting information that would surely captivate anyone with an interest in culture, history, and anthropology. The bison, or buffalo, whichever you prefer to call it, was an integral species for their way of life. Every part of the animal was carefully repurposed for food, clothing, and tools. It's no wonder the indigenous people referred to them as brother. We couldn't possibly tell you everything we learned here in this video, so if you have the opportunity, do make time to visit this amazing place yourself. So we're currently walking the lower trail. It's a longer hike, about 1.2 kilometers. But we're not gonna do the whole hike because Dad's waiting for us, so we won't take too long. Look at this vast field. The lower trail, as its name suggests, brings you right to the bottom of the cliff where the buffaloes would have fallen. Legend has it that a Blackfoot youth once wanted to watch the buffaloes fall from this very spot, but he was crushed by a falling buffalo, which is how the place got its name. What a sad, crushing fate! These days, of course, there is no chance of that happening, so you can enjoy your walk without worrying about a one-ton buffalo suddenly falling on you. As we got closer to Waterton, it was also time to fill our complaining bellies. We decided to stop at Fuzion Bar in Pincher Creek, which serves a pretty great spread. Our driver needs coffee.
Spaghetti bolognese, butter chicken, and baby back pork ribs.
The closer we got to the Rockies, the more the horizon changed. The vast plains slowly gave way to mountains rising dramatically to the clouds. It is such a breathtaking view, seeing these giants slowly grow larger and larger as you approach.
Orang vlogging juga udah pernah kesini beda. Red Rock itu yang kita bisa hiking.
We made a beeline for the visitor center right in the middle of town. Visitor centers in Canada's national parks are up-to-the-minute sources for information on trail conditions, local situations, and any areas that may be temporarily closed. They're always worth a visit to grab a map, learn about what makes the area unique, and get helpful recommendations on how to make the most of your time there. With daylight almost at its end, we chose to visit the park's iconic landmark, the Prince of Wales Hotel. It's a charming Swiss chalet-style building with steep roofs and timber-framed interiors, which was built all the way back in 1926. Just behind this rustic structure, you can enjoy a perfect viewpoint overlooking Upper Waterton Lake and the mountains that surround it. This large lake extends south all the way to the United States. It was an amazing view, especially under the warm, soft light of the setting sun. That's it for our long driving day to Waterton. As we say goodnight, we stopped at just one more place on the way to our hotel. See you tomorrow!
So we are getting cream cheese bagel for breakfast. And ta-da! It's big burn though.
Today, we've got a full day of activities planned. After a light breakfast, we headed out on the Rock Parkway, a scenic drive that winds through the Blakiston Valley, leading us to the famous Red Rock Canyon. We're doing the Red Rock Canyon Loop Trail. From the car park, you can take an easy 700-meter walk along the looping trail. We were captivated by the sight of the river cutting through a striking red wall, a result of oxidized iron, or in other words, rust. You can also spot the greenish layers where the iron has not yet oxidized, creating an absolutely photogenic contrast. If you're willing to get your feet wet, you can get down into the river itself, though the water is quite chilly. Once you've had your fill of this beautiful little canyon, there's more. The area is a hub for various hiking trails, from a relatively easy 2-kilometer hike to Blakiston Falls, which we did, to other more challenging routes. The short hike is definitely worth your time, as the views from the falls are simply beautiful, with the water and river rushing underneath and the peaks of the mountains in the background. All the walking made us a bit peckish, so we headed back to the town of Waterton for lunch, stopping at a lookout point to admire the scenery in this beautiful place. After a taco lunch, we spent some time wandering the main street. It's got a relaxed atmosphere and lots of interesting stores to explore. Before our next adventure, we paid a quick visit to Cameron Falls, which is right in the middle of town. It's a beautiful waterfall, but we didn't linger too long because we had a second scenic drive on our agenda. We took the Akamina Parkway, a 16-kilometer winding road through alpine scenery. You can still see the impact of a wildfire here from 2017, with rows of burned trees along the side of the road. This drive ends at the stunningly beautiful Cameron Lake, whose water feeds the Cameron Falls we saw earlier. This lake is popular for water activities and hiking. Even if you don't do either, it still offers a magnificent view of the glaciers and mountains surrounding it. If you're interested in getting out on the water, this is a great alternative to the more expensive rentals in Banff and Jasper. To close out our day, we decided to tackle the Bear's Hump Trail, a climb near the entrance of the town. This is the start of the Bear Hump Trail. It's a short trail, but it takes us to quite a height, an elevation of about 200. Look at that. But look how symmetrical the antlers are. This area is teeming with wildlife, from deer and squirrels to hummingbirds and sometimes even bears, so you should always pack up bear spray and give any animals you see a wide berth. Here's a view of the Prince Wales Hotel from the trail. Isn't it pretty? The light is gorgeous. So this is the end of the trail. This hike can be challenging due to the continuous steep climb, but isn't the view magnificent? it feels like a fitting place to say goodbye to Waterton National Park. It might not be as popular as Banff, but it is a spectacular place to be. Bye for now, and we'll see you next time.